A star shall advance from Jacob, and a staff rise from Israel. In today's first reading, we hear the blessings that the prophet Balaam pronounces on Israel while they're in the wilderness. Now, if you know the story here in Numbers, you know a bit about what's going on. Balak, king of Moab, fearing the Israelites, summoned the prophet Balaam to pronounce a curse on Israel. Now, this is an ill-fated attempt from the beginning because the presumption is that God's will can be bought and sold or manipulated by human beings. Balaam's initially reluctant to respond to the summons, and even when he does, his way is barred by an angel. And then Balaam's own donkey resists him and even speaks to him to protest being mistreated by him. When he finally does get there, he pronounces the words the Lord gives him, which are actually curses on Moab and blessings of Israel, the opposite of what he was asked to do. Now, this includes the blessing we hear today, pointing to a royal dynasty in Israel, who at this point is really just a bunch of people wandering in the wilderness. Now, the point of this reading in context is to show that God is the one in control of history. And his influence can't be bought and sold in some superstitious sense. And with his control, we see the prediction of a bright future for Israel, something we believe that's ultimately fulfilled in the universal influence of Christ. Now, maybe to us, the idea of paying for a curse or blessing might seem a little strange. But how often do we treat our spiritual life the same way, as a kind of transaction? We say prayers hoping God will give us something, or at least that we will have general good fortune. Faith, however, is about being obedient to God's will, not making God obedient to ours. And this can be difficult, particularly when we're in need. Now, this doesn't mean, however, that we shouldn't place our needs and even our wants before the Lord. Our job is actually to put all we are and all we have before Him. But we should also remember that just because we don't get what we want or what we think we need, that God doesn't hear us. Now, grappling with this can be the hardest part of the spiritual life, and it's a continuous challenge. But the patient expectation of Advent should remind us that God is ultimately in control, and that God who is in control is fundamentally good.